a record of a sum of $1.7 billion lost to business email compromise form of crime alone, when the hackers get into the business email of companies. They take charge of the conversations, they block the email, or they divert communication, so they take advantage of ongoing conversations with business partners and unknown to the victims. The communication will continue, thinking, and they will now provide an account where funds that are meant to fund a particular project that was being discussed will be paid into. You see, so this is what really happened. Okay. If you look at the plea bargain, okay, you know that.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Just go ahead. Just finish up that thought, Ade, before.
The plea bargain. You see, you see in the plea bargain the intention of government, law enforcement agencies to actually combat. To use crime to use prosecution to be a form of deterrence to people. You see, a lot of rights have been waived that have, the rights to appeal, right to have speedy trial, right to, a lot of rights, constitutional rights that are supposed to inure to a defendant have been waived. And if you look at it, unlike what we have here, where people go into plea bargain just to...
Okay, Ade, let me bring Kemi in here. So, Kemi, what are the other things we should know as regards this case? You and Ade, you've done an extensive and very good job as regards bringing this out. So, what are the other connections? Some other names, you mentioned, the likes of Woodbury. I think there was also the case of Mofa,
Mofa is not related to this case.
Okay, it's not related to
Mofa
this
is a BDC operator, and he actually works for his uncle. Okay. So his own case is with the EFCC. Okay. Now, what I wanted to say on what Ade said, what Ade said really needs to be taken very seriously. Premium Times is a newspaper that really focuses on investigative journalism. And for me personally, Ade said some things on the point of the media. Only Premium Times, myself, and you, Arise Now, analyzing it, really touch this case in deep. And if the government, has to look at the bigger picture, if they ask me, what do you want us to do? I will say, bring the Premium Times guy, myself, and let us sit with the ministers for technology, the ministers for finance, and the ministers for foreign affairs on a round table to discuss how this can stop. It is not just Hushpuppi. It's a lot of Nigerians. Now, Rufai, Dr. Abati, Adesua, are you aware that last night I got more documents from the FBI of this wristwatch that was purchased in January, February, and sent to Hushpuppi in Dubai for millions of dollars of nairas? These people that orchestrated that particular part of the scam, if you read the page 9 of the 29 documents of the plea agreement, you will see it there. These were like 4 girls, 4 women, and 3 guys in the United States. They just arrested them last week, July 22nd. So the arrests are still coming in, Now, let me tell you one part of that whole COVID thing. The $100 million were for ventilators for COVID. And what Donald Trump wanted was to put those funds were going through the United States Secret Service. They're another elite law enforcement agency. When Alamari hacked into it reportedly, the $100 million came out. The 30% is Hushpuppi's money, and the 70% is Alamari and his boys. So when Hushpuppi had heard, this is according to an FBI source, when Hushpuppi had heard that they've captured Alamari, rather than just go down low, lay low, whatever, he double-crossed. According to my source, he allegedly double-crossed Alamari's boys of that 70 million and kept the whole 100. Out of greed, those boys were the ones that tipped the FBI off on the entire operation. And they found a way to start looking for Hushpuppi. And then Hushpuppi flashed everything and all that. This is one of the reasons why he fired Jill Pisetsky and Vicky Prodebeski, the first 2 lawyers who were saying, our client was kidnapped, our client is an influencer. That wouldn't work. I know Louis Shapiro. He's a very good lawyer. And I said it on my Instagram page. When Shapiro gets in there, he's just going to tell the feds, plea deal. And this is the problem we're having now with Woodbury. Olale Konponle, the second in command. This is the boy that was in South Africa. Kwanle was in South Africa, and he fled South Africa because they wanted to kill him. There was one particular Yahoo over there called Alibaba. It was a big BEC, and a lot of money came out of it. And I heard our boys, were going to share that money, and Woodbury reportedly fled Dubai when he heard they're going to kill him. He didn't want to release the money. They were going to kill him, the cultist boys. And he fled to Dubai and moved with Hushpuppi. When he got to Dubai, he settled the boys. But at the end of the day, the BEC emails and the scams were still on Woodbury's phone, and that's why he's having a trouble now with his trial in Chicago. They have another lawyer that they've added to that case. I'm covering that too. The next date is August 6th. His name is Thomas Durkin, and Durkin is another very good lawyer. They're paying these lawyers huge amounts of sums. And Woodbury is in what they call a proffer, where they'll sit down with the feds and all that. And Woodbury has still not done that plea agreement. He needs to do the plea agreement because they'll give him 10 years, because he's facing 30 years. 10 instead of 30, like Obi Okeke, Obi-Wani Okeke. He confessed and they gave him 10 instead of 30. So this whole BEC stuff from South Africa was still on Woodbury's phone, and the lawyers have looked at it. So we're hoping on August 6th they'll decide to do a plea agreement too. If you notice, Hushpuppi's plea agreement was done in April 7th, and they just released it to us. They released it to us on the day of the trial 2 days ago. We are calling it, Premium Times and myself, we're calling into that system, PACER, P-A-C-E-R, United States Federal Court system. They actually did PACER because of coronavirus. Okay. You dial in, you're accredited, you put your code, you can hear everything in the courtroom.
For want of time, I want to really chip in more questions here.
Sure.
You've been following this case. Premium Times has told us why they decided to go after this.
Yes.
What jumped at you? Why did you decide to follow this case? And if you could just answer as well, for a lot of Nigerians, or some Nigerians, this did not come as a surprise with the luxurious lifestyle Hushpuppi was flaunting on social media platforms. But why do you think anybody should pay attention to this case?
Okay, Adesua, let's get personal. You asked me why did I get into this case. One, I'm a journalist. Number two, the same question BBC asked me in London. BBC London called me. They noticed that Hushpuppi and I had some interaction, okay? I was curious. I wanted to follow what was going on. The interaction was years ago, when I came out of Port Harcourt prison, when I was detained. I was sick, very ill, and I had a huge medical bill, and I had to treat myself. So I did a fundraiser online, and I started going to the DMs of famous stars, people that had money, okay? I'm blunt. I needed the money. So I went to Hushpuppi's page, and I sent him a message, and I did a post. And he said I have to apologize to a certain blogger before he could give me money. I apologized to the blogger. The post is still on his page. I apologized to the blogger, and he didn't give me the money. And I called him. I said, you're a scammer. Okay, you scammed me. You let me apologize to my nemesis, and you scammed me. At the end of the day, I said something that some people picked up. You're a scammer. So when I heard this stuff, it came from one of the people in that house, Palazzo Versace, that afternoon, 4 o'clock, our time, 7 Dubai. Said they just arrested Hushpuppi. They just raided the house. They just, and that's how I broke the story. Then I followed it since then. And then one of the reporters at the Gulf called me and said, hey, Kemi, Hushpuppi going to America tomorrow. I'm speaking with his Arab accent. He said, Hushpuppi going to America. How? Extraordinary rendition. Activists don't like it. They'll pull you from a third country. Look where Hushpuppi is. He's with the U.S. Marshals. He's not in a prison. You know where the Marshals are? They have 2 locations that I know of. One in Colorado, underground bunkers. They have a whole city under the ground. And the other one, Florida, in the middle of the ocean. Helicopters come and go. They can't escape. It's for dangerous fugitives. That's what they classified Hushpuppi as. And then I saw the charging documents. I saw the crimes. I saw everything. So I would say this case is going to end up with a sentence of, well, I'm not God and I'm not a judge, but with my FBI sources, all the U.S. law enforcement sources, and even sources in the U.S. Embassy. The U.S. Embassy here in Victoria Island has an FBI attaché in there, and they have, because they're doing that because it has changed everything about getting a visa. 2 weeks ago, some of our children who got I-20 visas are stealing 1.7 million, withdrawing it at ATM. We saw them. So the embassy has to be very careful who's getting the visas, and we want them not to let these kids be affected. The ones that are actually going to school and not doing Yahoo. And so with that being said, I'm looking at 15 years for Hushpuppi. Good behavior, clean, mop, do dishes, be good to other inmates, be respectful. He'll get out in 15 years. Well, now, after that 15 years, real quick, I know we don't have time, but after that 15 years, you got another big problem, okay? St. Nevis and Kitts, St. Christopher and Kitts, the passport he's carrying, they're going to revoke this passport. A government official is telling me. Okay, because proceeds of the crime purchase that passport. So we now have to look at investment passports. People can buy a passport for $150,000. Yes.
Yeah, we have just about a minute to go.
Okay.
Many young people look up to the likes of Invictus, Hushpuppi, Woodbury. What will you say to those young people who regard these persons as heroes in their own view, and they want to be like them?
What I say to them, I'm already saying it to them. Leave this Yahoo alone, okay? So it bigs up the bigger picture, all right? We need money. We want the federal government. I'm saying this now in Arise, and I thank you for giving me this platform. We need the federal government to give us money. I did a content creation seminar 2 weeks ago. This is a 50,000 naira seminar. They don't have that to pay me. They don't have 30,000. I did it for 10,000, and some people did it. Others want to do it. We don't make money from this. But if the government puts this funding out for people like us, my headgear is coming out, for people like us that have this training, let us teach them how to blog, how to create content, how to do comedy skits, how to monetize it, how to make money on the internet, instead of them trying to steal all the time. This is what I'm telling the government. This next election, 2023, put out money to the people that can help the youth. Look at the boy from Abba Technologies, $2 billion invested in Big Brother Nigeria, and Patricia, another $1 billion there. Young people sponsoring. The regular sponsors, the detergent companies and all that, $200 million, they beat them out. Tech is the new oil. Let us use it well. Let's teach these kids to stop stealing with tech. And let the police know. We want the police and the EFCC to know that if they're carrying a laptop, they don't need to be profiled. It is not always Yahoo. Let us help these children. My children are not American, not Nigerian. They're American. 2 over there, 1 here. Okay? But these children here in Nigeria are Nigerians like me. And this is my country. Let me help them. They have nowhere to go.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Ade Adesomoju and Kemi Olunloyo.
Dr. Abbas.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Rufai.
Thank you.
Thank you.